Welcome to the Explainer. So, let's just dive right into this, because today we are looking at one of the absolute most fascinating shifts in the entire modern economy. We are breaking down the David versus Goliath 2.0 scenario. We're going to explore exactly how a single person, or just a tiny, scrappy micro team, can realistically outmaneuver massive global corporations today. I know, it sounds a little crazy, right? No way a solo person can do that. But thanks to this wild convergence of remote work, borderless infrastructure, and artificial intelligence, the old rules of business scale, they've literally been rewritten.
And this naturally brings us to our central question. How on earth can a one-person team actually beat a global corporate giant? For decades, if you wanted to compete with a monopoly, you needed, millions in venture capital, giant glass office buildings, and a literal army of employees. But what the data and all these modern case studies are showing us right now is that the barrier to entry has essentially vanished. Solopreneurs are building incredibly lucrative businesses right from their laptops on their kitchen counters, defeating corporate giants by playing a completely different game altogether. So the crucial point here is perfectly captured in this quote. In the AI and remote era, scale is measured by leverage. Think about that. We are no longer measuring scale by headcount. We honestly don't care how many desks you have in a building anymore. Scale today is entirely about how much value one highly focused human can deliver globally, just by directing a network of automated systems and AI tools. You aren't scaling your workforce, you are scaling your own capability.
Just look at this stark contrast between these two mindsets. The old way relied heavily on management and headcount. If you wanted to double your output, you had to hire twice as many people, which just meant more meetings, more overhead, and a ton of friction. But the new way? That relies entirely on AI agents and systems leverage. As a solopreneur, you act more like an orchestrator, kind of like a conductor of an orchestra. You provide the strategic direction, the brand voice, and the human empathy, while you delegate the actual execution, like initial coding, marketing distribution, or data processing to your AI instruments.
Okay, moving right along to section 1, finding your blue ocean and winning the micro niches that the giants completely ignore. So here's the thing. Big tech companies like Microsoft or Salesforce, they absolutely need massive billion-dollar markets just to justify their engineering and legal overhead. To them, a software product generating, say, $300,000 to $2 million a year, that is literally a rounding error. They won't even bat an eye at it. But for a solo operator with near zero operating costs, that incredibly narrow micro niche is a highly profitable playground. Let's look at some concrete examples of what these actually look like. We're talking about highly specialized AI-native software. Think of AI compliance tools built specifically for independent dental clinics in Germany. Or maybe automated workflow bridges designed just for local logistics managers. Or even highly specialized plugins for specific podcast hosts. Big tech companies will never ever build software for a trade that narrow. But the practitioners in that trade, they will happily pay a $99 monthly subscription to solve their specific daily headache.
Which brings us nicely to our next major concept. Section 2, the platform snowball effect, and finding ecosystem leverage for micro teams. Let's face it, when competition is fierce, building a standalone product completely from scratch is exhausting. Instead, you can use this step-by-step snowball strategy to leverage existing ecosystems. Step 1, you pick a narrow micro niche. Step 2, you build a plugin directly into a massive platform. We're talking Shopify, Roblox, or Visual Studio Code. This lets their millions of users who already have their credit cards out act as your distribution network. It's brilliant. And step 3, and this is absolutely vital, you build in public on social media. As a solo operator, you obviously don't have a giant corporate ad budget. Instead, you share your journey. Share your coding bugs, your revenue numbers, the whole shebang on platforms like X or LinkedIn. Transparency builds trust. People don't want to connect with a faceless corporation. They want to connect with real humans building cool things.
Now you might be wondering, how do you actually build these tools all by yourself? Well, you need the ultimate solo team tech stack. You don't just use one AI tool, you combine them for maximum leverage. On one side, we have Claude Code, which absolutely excels at agentic execution. You act as the manager, giving it high-level instructions to, say, refactor back-end databases or write complex tests right in your terminal. On the other side, we have Cursor, a fully AI-native IDE. You use this for fast visual editing and basically co-piloting your day-to-day code. By combining them, it's honestly like one developer producing the output of an entire small engineering department. Actually, scratch that. What if you are offering a service rather than software? How do you get clients without joining that whole race to the bottom on crowded freelance sites like Upwork?
You bypass them entirely with direct, personalized outreach. Step 1. Identify a specific business and spot an obvious manual bottleneck in their public workflow. Step 2. Record a highly personalized 90-second Loom video showing them exactly how an AI workflow could save them, say, 10 hours a week. And Step 3. Just send a direct email with that video. You are creating demand out of thin air by building personal trust.
Okay, so we've covered the business mechanics, and it sounds amazing, right? You can build incredible leverage, scale globally, and totally bypass the corporate giants. But we really have to pause for a second and ask a vital question. Is this highly leveraged, isolated remote lifestyle actually making us happier? Because the reality is, operating a one-person global business from your laptop has some pretty intense human consequences, and it can quickly lead to severe burnout if we aren't careful.
We honestly need a reality check on the so-called savings of remote work, because it's actually a strict cost shift. Yes, for sure, the commute is gone, but you often trade it for profound social isolation. And while your former employer, or the giant corporation you aren't working for, saves thousands on an office lease, well, that cost shifts directly onto you in the form of higher electricity, heating, and internet bills. The financial and physical realities aren't just pure profit, they require active, daily management. There are some really stark psychological trade-offs to the solopreneur life. On the pro side, obviously you have ultimate autonomy, massive commute savings, and the ability to customize your environment for deep focus. But look at the cons: Zoom fatigue from unnatural digital communication, the incredibly dangerous sedentary trap where your daily step count just completely collapses, and perhaps most dangerously, role contagion. When your home is your office, your brain really struggles to unplug, leading to this continuous background anxiety because you feel like you never truly leave work.
So how do we survive this lifestyle long-term and actually enjoy the freedom we've built? That brings us to Section 3, the 4 pillars of balance, replacing passive habits with intentional design. You see, in a traditional office, boundaries were provided for you by default. The building, the commute, the set hours, they all did the heavy lifting. But working remotely, you have to intentionally build those boundaries to protect your well-being. The first pillar is communication, specifically being asynchronous first. This totally solves the global time zone problem. Instead of forcing live Zoom meetings that require you to be awake at 3 a.m. to speak with a client in Tokyo, you rely on recorded video updates and documentation. And this brilliantly illustrates what we call the relay race effect. You record a Loom video updating a project, go to sleep in London, and your client in New York reviews it during their morning. The work flows 24/7, but you still get your rest. But beyond just communication, a balanced system really relies on 3 other pillars. Psychologically, you must create a virtual commute. Think of it like taking a 15-minute walk at 5 p.m. to explicitly signal to your brain that the workday is officially over. Physically, because you aren't walking to the train anymore, you have to aggressively schedule daily movement to avoid that sedentary trap. And financially, you need to take those commute savings and proactively reinvest them into a high-quality ergonomic chair and proper lighting to protect your body. Your back will thank you, trust me. I want to leave you with this incredibly powerful thought from the source material. Remote work isn't inherently a dream or a nightmare. It's a mirror. It amplifies whatever habits you bring to it. Flexibility is really merely a tool. If you lack discipline, this borderless, AI-powered life is just going to feel isolating and overwhelming. But if you use that flexibility to intentionally design your day, you don't just build a successful micro-business, you reclaim your entire life.
So what does this all mean for you? The only question left is, which micro-business path are you going to choose? Will you take the developer route and build plugins from massive platforms like VS Code? Maybe the creator route, selling digital assets and Notion templates? Or the e-commerce route, building localized compliance widgets for Shopify? Look, the tools are available, the big companies are way too slow to stop you, and the playing field is entirely yours. Goliath has literally never been more vulnerable. So what are you waiting for? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you on the next one.